Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the plot tour at the end of July. A real sort of mixed month of heat waves and lots of rain. Most things seem to have survived, although some not as happy as others. Flowers are doing rather well, although there's a cosmos, this orange one here at the front, is supposed to be about 1 foot high, and it's actually more like 2 foot high, and the one at the back is supposed to be 2 foot high and it's slightly shorter, so cosmos seems to be very confused. The lilies aren't out yet, they're nearly there. They'll probably be gone by the end of August video. Tayberry has put on an astonishing amount of growth for next year. So the gladioli are starting to come out, looking quite spectacular. Rhubarb is, well, we've had the last harvest off of it now. Likewise with the strawberries, we've got some everbearers down the front here which are still flowering. So they'll give us the odd one now and again, but we're going to have to rethink the strawberries for next year. And here we are with the courgettes and various cover crops. This is a bit of the odds and sods bed, this one. Got some French beans. Got some tomatoes. There's a bit of a runt tomato here, but it's still producing something. So the net is off the blackcurrants and gooseberries. They are all harvested. We had a pretty good crop off them this year, so we're quite happy with that. Carrots are doing their usual, trying to burst out of the netting. They're going reasonably well. All quiet in the ex-blueberry bath, but the one remaining blueberry has been producing. We've been cropping just before we leave the plot. We just have them before we go. And the potatoes, sarpomera main crop, we haven't harvested from yet. We've had a few of the elfie pots. We've got some beans coming in the pots that were harvested first. Popped in a dahlia there. So the bean wigwams, as you can see, the back one was planted up before the front one, and we should be starting to get beans off the back one any day now. And the cabbages and Brussels sprout bed. Sprouts are doing really well compared to previous years. Let's have a look up the orchard avenue. The pinks are starting to come out on either side. Here we have the peppers. They have thoroughly enjoyed this last sort of hot spell, having looked a bit peary-wally beforehand. They were going yellow, and the onions have been coming out. They've been just flopping over. Well, here's one that's just flopped over just since yesterday, so they've just been one or two or three just every day. There seems to be, oh, I can see one that's flopped over at the back there as well, so 2 more will be harvested today. Hello, what's that? We have had a little bit of blight on the tomatoes, thankfully not going to the main stem, so we've just taken off the affected branches, and so far so good. There's nothing been carrying on with them. There's not been anything yet that's seen them off. So we've got more French beans here. We've been cropping the ones at the back. Carrots actually are looking pretty good down there. So peach peregrine, quite a bush now really. So my attitude this time round for pruning it will be not as severe as I did last year. See whether I can perhaps get some more mature growth to actually blossom and fruit next year. Foxglove there, just waiting for it to start having its seeds ready to gather. So I've taken out the thuggy lupin that was at the back there, popped in a dark sedum. Cherry doesn't seem to have died yet, which hopefully it won't, but that lily is dying back. So the marigolds and beans and tomatoes in front of the shed seem pretty happy. And the bank area, that's got quite a bit of flowerage at the moment and several things coming out. So I'll just show you the two rather large sunflowers. So they're up to not over 7 feet now, so and still no signs of the heads appearing. Aubergines, as this one on the side here was originally the most healthy, and now it's the least healthy. We are having some fruit being set, but the wet weather was cold. Wet weather was not happy at all. Waldo, the thornless blackberry, you can see has got some fruit there. Hopefully you can see that. And I've just popped a tip layer into a pot down there. Hopefully that will take. I've got another dahlia in the pot over there. So this eryngium has been fantastic. It's had a fair bit of wildlife on it, and it's a real joy to sit and watch from the bench. So we have had a few more lily flowers on there. So I've got 3 dahlias on the bank that overwintered there, and that one there, Cafe au lait, has decided to come out finally. And we even got a daylily and another lilies. Oh, it's a yellow gladioli, which is somewhat drunkenly at an angle. I've got a lily out over there. So the pluot, which I was worried about a couple of months ago, seems to have recovered itself rather well. So I'm hoping now that that means that this relatively young tree is now over the worst. So the raspberries, they've been enjoying all this rather wet weather. In fact, we've got some fruit on this autumn raspberry. It's trying to tell me something. So the plum super columns, I'm just letting them do their thing, get as much growth of it as they can before I tidy them up. And much like the peach, I'm just not going to be as severe with my tidying up as I was last year. We have got about 4 pluot fruit, which is not a great amount, but I don't think any of them are actually going to be edible. So the sweetcorn is looking good. It's not, I'm just seeing it's just a bit over 5 feet. It's tasseling and silking up, getting ready. I would say I'm quite happy with that, and I am thus far. It looks good, but we'll see what it's like when we actually get the cobs. So the parsnips are there. They're being very, very slow, but they are on the go. This is one of our fallow beds. Its cover crop has gone absolutely crazy in here. So we took out the mange tout down the middle, and we were left with beetroot that had leafed up quite a lot in the shade of the mange tout and in those darker weeks that we had, and now that the sun's been out, it's looking terribly limp. That's what happens when something puts on too much leafage and then gets a sunny spell. Leeks are looking good, and the cabbages. As I've taken out some golden acre just before recording that hadn't been happy with the weather that we've just had. That's the Sherwood variety that's in there, which is a lot happier. And here we are, the orchard bed. Some of the dahlias are about to come out. So the actual espalier apples that have looked quite miserable, they are starting to recover. This sort of it's got healthy tip growth now. Our pear is developing a lean in the wind. Unlike the Victoria plum, which is unbelievably robust and dense. As I think Monty Don talks about sort of pruning trees so that a pigeon can fly through them. You wouldn't be able to get a little wren through that one. So we got French beans along the front here in the ribbon beds, and they are really just for collecting seed from. We're not going to be harvesting them. And the pinks are looking nice. A couple of flowers are a bit over there. We've got butternut squash on either side, which if they get big enough we'll train them up the corner posts. Got some courgette over there. Popped in some cosmos on either side. You can see they're flowering away there. Quite spindly, but they will thicken up. And more rhubarb, little pink down there in the shade. Borage is looking very happy. And we've got a couple of tip layer tayberries in there that will be taken out and relocated. And the sweet peas, if I'd known they were going to perform this well, I would have put in more strings and supported them up the obelisk, because they're having their best year ever. And that's butternut squash there. It's enjoying its freedom along the front of the potatoes. And there we have it. I hope everyone's keeping well, and I will see you in the next month. Bye for now.